So yeah, guys, I'm pretty much an open book. If anyone has any questions, feel free to just ask me. We'll wait for Dan. He should be on hopefully any second now, but if he's not, that's okay. How you going, Nadia? Oh, no.
Hi. Oh, I'm not
Morning.
mute. Cool.
Nah,
Morning.
yeah, morning. How you doing?
I'm good, good.
Yeah, cool. So, how you been? How's SFM going for you?
It's really exciting. Actually, I think I just started driving some clicks yesterday with Jarvie, so that was fun.
Yeah,
And doing the blog thing, figuring out WordPress. So that's
yeah,
fun.
great. Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see your website once it's up.
Yeah, let me finish that.
Yeah, that will do. Cool, guys. So anyway, anyone got any questions, or just to start this, get the ball rolling?
Can I ask
Yeah.
something? Oh,
Okay.
you first.
Oh,
Right.
thank you. Yeah, maybe you talked already about this, but just because so while finishing the modules, I would like to start how do you say, to imagine how I can do the next steps. And about Facebook, it's possible to have what is the best, to have a business and make a completely new page, or from my personal Facebook account I make a page?
Yeah. So what you want to do is use your personal, like when it comes to, are you talking about branding or just creating creating a business brand or creating a personal brand? Is that
Personal brand.
Yeah, so we highly recommend, like, this is what me and Daniel do. We do personal branding, so people are more buying into us and like our values and our content that we're putting out there, and then we tell them about SFM later. So if you look at my Facebook where I run my ads, I've got a photo of me. It's got my personal story, and I'm just sharing content that's related to me. Then I tell people about SFM. I give them a link. There's a video of me explaining, hey, here's SFM. You can go and check it out. So, people are buying into you. They're not buying into SFM. You are your own brand. And by establishing that personal branding, you can honestly, you can grow, you can promote anything from it because people are coming into you. So it's really, personal branding is definitely the way to go. And it's not hard because, I mean, the way law of attraction works, right? If you're putting yourself out there, you're going to attract people like yourself. And if you joined SFM, you're attracting people like you, the same values, same goals in life. They're also going to join SFM, and there's no competition in that sense. Like there's no way I could bring in the same type of people that you can bring in. Whilst me and Dan, we attract a totally different audience. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, so to do this personal branding, I just make a new page from my already existing personal. Yeah, just add the page.
Yeah, just the fan page.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So that's definitely the way to go, the way to do it. Cool.
While I'm here, sorry guys, I had trouble with my internet and I couldn't get on. But the VPN worked for some reason.
There you go.
I think Indonesia blocked me.
Cool.
So yeah.
Yeah. So
we got anyone new on? I can't see on my phone, but
so we've got a few people on. So we've got a list. I'm not too sure if everyone's been on a call before, but we've got Fred, we've got Dakota, Roxana, Jerome, Nadia, Josie, Fraser, and me. So it's a bit of a quieter one today, but that's okay. Anyway,
how you going, Fred? Because I know Fred. Sorry, Adam, and I haven't spoken for a while. Good to see you on. How you been? Can you hear me, Fred?
I think he's frozen.
Okay, that's all right. Move on. As you were saying, Adam?
Yeah, cool. Anyway, just any questions, guys? I think you had one, Nadia?
Yeah, so a bit technical one, but So when you guys set up a new Instagram account to add to Jarvee, hello?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So when you set up a new account to go to Jarvee, Daniel recommended putting 6 pictures on. So is there any reason to really have 6 unique pictures on a new account, or we can just put up for Jarvee to put automatic posts on it over time to grow it? It would just be slower, or there's another reason to really put 6 pictures first before adding it to Jarvee?
It's just, really authentic. You don't have to have 6 photos. That's the way we used to do it. But we're doing it a different way with campaigns. I mean, like having 6 photos and having that, it'll get you more engagement faster because it will look more like a legitimate account. If you're posting like 1 or 2 photos a day, it takes a little while to get that traction. But with Instagram questions, I mean, there's quite a bit to the way we do stuff. So I can hop on a call with you, like one-on-one, Nadia, to answer those questions. Because there's a lot to it with that stuff.
And also, we've got the updated, like the campaigns video, Adam, that we could be able to send.
Yeah, we'll go through all that.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. So, how you doing, Jerome? I see you live on camera there. How you doing?
How's it going? I'm good. How's it going, man?
Yeah, good, man. How long have you been at? You too. How long have you been at SFM for?
10 hours.
10 hours. Going strong. Did you come for?
Yeah.
Did you come for one of our Facebook ads or?
Actually, I'm friends with Fraser McDonald.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so he introduced. We have a little bit of a business history in the past, and just introduced me to what he's doing now, and I jumped on it.
Yeah, great. It's a great company. We're actually going to be catching up with him next week. I think he's on this call actually. Just got his video off.
Yeah, I'm just walking out, boys. That's why.
There you go. We're going to be actually going to Bali shooting some YouTube ads for it. So it's going to be pretty cool, which we're excited to share with everyone.
Excellent.
Cool, guys.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's the way to go. Cool, guys. I mean, anyone got any other questions? Feel free to share, or share your experience with SFM. Anything. Like I said, me and Daniel are an open book. We're here to pretty much help you guys out for whatever you need.
Adam, actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
I consider myself a sponge, and sometimes in the past I've gotten myself stuck in learning mode.
Yeah.
But when I do take massive action, I pretty much don't sleep until the task is done. I'm obviously on module 2 since I just upgraded, like I said, 10 hours ago. So I know there's going to be a point where I'm going to schedule a call with Daniel.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know, when should I prepare myself really to start taking that massive action? Should I keep learning more, or should I just implement everything I learned at a slow, steady pace and then go back to learning?
It really depends on how you want to market. So that's the question. Like, how have you marketed in the past? I mean, definitely go through at the same time. Go through the getting started modules, but you definitely don't want to. You don't want to be in that state of learning where you don't actually take any actions. I personally, I can't do that. If I learn something, I have to apply it at that same time, and that's how you get results. So, module 3 and 4 is really the in-depth marketing to get all the systems set up. Module 5 is really going into like the background stuff, like getting your website up and running too. But it really, definitely do module 3 and 4, so you get all the back office stuff set up correctly. But you also, after that, you just got to figure out how you want to market. Do you want to go on YouTube? Do you want to do Facebook? I mean, we've got an Instagram strategy. That's a bit of a free one. It's a bit technical. You do want to do that. That's kind of what you want to ask yourself. What do you want to market, and then connect with the people that are doing that. I mean, the SFM training is really on point, especially for AdWords and YouTube. So if that's the way you want to go, stick with them. Or just connect with people in the community as well.
Sounds good. Because
I think
no, go ahead.
So if I can just touch on that as well, like the importance of getting through the training modules is what you'll find, Jerome, is as you go through the modules with SFM, it'll be extremely different to anything else you've done. They work really closely. Like even for ourselves, like Adam and I didn't really take the modules too seriously in the beginning. It's like, oh, you know, we've had some experience, we've got our own strategy. And then it wasn't until we actually like went into detail of their training, we're like, wow, we've got so much more to learn. And they're very strict with compliance. They teach you how to build everything compliant for AdWords and, you know, FTC guidelines. So, you know, going through all of those, even if you have had experience in the past, although you want to take action, also just make sure you do dive deep and learn what they're teaching, because it is different. And we had a big wake up call, especially when we jumped on, because we're positioned at Black, we got on a gold call the other week and we were just blown away. We're like, wow, we got so much more to learn about marketing. And we considered ourselves good, you know. And then we're like, wow, we are just newbies. We are still green compared to what they're teaching. So yeah, on just a touch on that, there is a lot to learn. So yeah, make sure you do take your time going through those modules and implement what they teach. Yeah,
I appreciate that, definitely. I'm just I'm excited to really dive into this. Just want to make sure I'm not absorbing too much that I can't handle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's designed to get people started, right? So there is a lot of information to get you rolling, but it's designed to get people started and taking action. So that's the point of it. That's the purpose of the getting started modules.
All right, excellent.
Yeah. Perfect. Cool, guys. You got anything you want to say, Dan? I'm kind of a bit of a blank slate this morning.
Well, if there's no more questions from anybody, then
I'll ask something, if that's okay. Yeah. So the digital business launch, I'm still not really clear how it fits into the rest of the system. And is it really necessary? Because like at this moment, I have my own hosting for the domain, and I'm not sure, because they teach us to purchase domain through the digital business launch, and I'm not really sure if it's necessary to be using it, and what am I missing out if I'm not?
Yeah, I mean, with DBL, it's the people who don't have like their own hosting. It's just the provider. I mean, like for me and Daniel, we've been using programs like ClickFunnels. We've already had our tools set up, right? So for us to shift to that, it was like we didn't go into it either. We're not using it at the moment for the main reason that we've used other tools and we already had everything else set up. But it's very good because you get simple lead capture, which is free. A lot of lead capture programs are about $100 a month. You also you can host a website, you can get your free domains, so there's quite a bit in there. But we're probably not the best ones to ask because we're not using it at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's more so for like, the newbies who've never bought a domain, they don't know how to set up a website at all, and they just have it all in one place and, want to teach you from the beginning. So yeah. I mean, if you've already got your own stuff, then I would just say stick with what you know. Like us, we have for now.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's using DBL on this call and you want to explain your experience with what you get with it, that would be great because we haven't jumped into that yet. Nope. Oh, that's cool. Cool, guys. Any other questions? Dakota, you have one?
Yes. So right now, my wife and I, we're in module 4, and we're just working on building our kind of the foundations of our business, and we're trying to. One of the questions that I had were just related to who we target. Our branding is kind of as a couple, as a family. Like we kind of decided to brand ourselves to attract other couples with like kids, like families like ours who are trying to, bring the husband and the wife home from work, stuff like that, and spend more time with their family. And so when we get started and start to target our audience, should we really focus on one specific individual, like a dad or a husband or a wife, or should we focus on both, like in our demographic?
Yeah, I mean the way we market, and when you're marketing at the start, this is the way we've been doing it at the moment, is we're collecting data, right? So we put our ad out there, we put our message out there, right? Then we've basically got all these on Facebook. We've got all these different age groups, and then we figure out which one's converting the best. Say we've got 18 to 25 male, 18 to 25 women, 35 to 40 male, 35 to 40 women, and just have all those numbers coming in. So you're spending a little bit of money, and then you can see where the leads are coming from, where the cheapest leads are, and then actually turn everything else off and focus on that. Locking on that. Now, in regards to targeting, you got your keywords and all that too. So obviously, if you're targeting, bit of common sense goes into that as well. If you're targeting like families, you're probably not going to target 18-year-olds. It doesn't make sense. There won't be anyone there. But yeah, so that's what we do. You got to test when you're running ads. You got to test and see who's coming in, who's interested in your offer, and then optimize to that, and just see what your numbers are.
Yeah, and also it comes down to just like looking at yourselves, like you said, you were just explaining like who you are, who you want to attract. So you're basically going to attract people like yourself. It's that attraction marketing model. It's getting clear on your story, your pains, your frustrations, and what you want to achieve, and you're looking for those exact same people as yourself. So I mean, everyone knows their perfect target market because it's a reflection of who they are, and it's the same. So when you're doing your marketing, just focus on your message of who you are and where you want to be, and that's the people you're looking for. And definitely for the families, I'd probably recommend. I mean, you got to test it, but probably 30 plus. I know the highest quality, like Chris and Gerard, the lifestyle team who brought us on board. Absolutely crushing 100K months on YouTube ads, and their average age is 45. So they really target that higher age bracket on YouTube, and they just crush it with that age. It would be fantastic. And because you are a couple, you're going to attract a different audience at the same time. Like your message, Dakota, might be for the dads, but your wife's might be for the mums. And so together, I think it's definitely more powerful to have that message. And what were you looking on advertising on first, by the way?
I guess we hadn't really got that far. Right now we're focused on building our website, and I haven't decided what I'm going to use for that, because we have access to the Digital Business Lounge and stuff, but I also do have ClickFunnels, and I've used ClickFunnels in the past. So I'm not quite sure I guess what would y'all recommend? What's better as far as the tools and the the capabilities?
Yeah. Well, for ourselves, like we started with our little Instagram strategy. It was free, but it's a lot more time. It's not as targeted. This is what Chris said to us when we were traveling in Komodo Island and everything. He said pretty much for gold members, it'd be best for like Facebook ads because they are cheaper, but their quality is not as high. Is pretty much the YouTube ads. He goes, just make black members because it is a lot more expensive, but the return on investment is so much higher. So it depends on your positioning, depends where what your budget is, what your goals are, where you would start as well. But in saying that, you can still always start and test and figure out where you're at. You can still run a YouTube ad at Elite and then figure out, okay, this is working, this is converting. Now my next goal is position higher, So it does come down to a personal choice. For me, I've tried Instagram, I've tried Facebook. I'm most excited about YouTube. I'm really excited for Fraser to come out next week. We're going to be, focusing on getting our video ad ready and getting those YouTube ads running because we know that they're the most expensive leads, but they're also the highest converting. So I think the end goal for everyone, like if we just stop and have a look at the leaderboards, everyone on the leaderboard is YouTube. They're running Google AdWords on YouTube. So I think that's the end goal. And again, coming down to that compliance, it is so strict with compliance to have a successful ad. So that's why, you can't break any rules when you're running AdWords.
Mm-hmm.
You'll just get shut down.
And just touching on that, especially if you're at a lower level, I mean, if you're running a YouTube ad, you can always, if your budget's not as high, I know Chris and Sandrine, they spend up to $2,000 a day, which, I mean, no one starts with that. You start off a little and you grow up and your conversions go up. But, you're running a smaller traffic. And when we did it on Facebook, right, we found we had a lot more time to reach out to people and just personally, increase those conversions. So you can go 100%. Out, you can just go out and talk to them, and you got more time. But if you're running like $2,000 a day, you got so many people coming in. It's just a numbers game. So yeah, cool guys. Right. Good question. Yeah, great guys. Any other questions? Who have we got on here? We've got Josie. How you doing? Yeah. Ivan, how long have you been at SFM for? I don't think we've met.
I just started last week.
Last week. How are you finding it?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Just a little over a week ago.
Yeah, great. Cool. All right, guys. Well, any other questions? Otherwise, I'm happy to. We can just keep going. But yeah, we're here to help you guys out. So if you need anything, feel free to ask us.
Yeah, how so if we have the funding available to us, because right now we're working on getting a business loan, how high should we position ourselves? Obviously I'm going to have another call with Mark, and he's going to give me another consultation. But from y'all's personal experience, for us, it's going to be gold or higher. We just don't know what we can handle yet, just because we're beginners. So just kind of hear your personal thoughts on that.
Well, this is the way that I looked at it when I was positioning. I looked at my current income. I looked at what I could afford to pay on a minimum monthly payment, and I didn't look at what I was borrowing. I was looking at what could I afford, and I knew that my $20,000 loan was going to cost me around about $500 a month. I was like, can I afford to pay $500 a month in order to position at this level? I also sold some crypto. I had like $10,000 of Bitcoin. I sold that, so I knew that with that minimum repayment, I knew I could handle that. I wasn't going to sink myself or put myself out of home, and that's the way I'd look at it. I would look at, you don't want to stretch yourself out too much. You do want to be realistic, but position yourself as high as you can. Look at your numbers, look what your budget, what you can afford to pay, and just focus on that minimum monthly repayment, because it will be a return on investment if you're willing to do the work. And I know you've already got the commitment. I know you've already got the drive to make this work. So I'll just be looking at your budget. What can I afford to pay on the minimum monthly repayment, and then go from there. If that can get you to gold, just go gold. If it can get you platinum, go platinum. If it can get you black, go black. And that's how I looked at it. Like, people don't even blink to go and get a car loan for $30,000, $40,000, and you're never going to make money on a car unless you buy some last model that's never going to be made again, right? So you're not going to make money back on that. And just look at what the potential earnings are, what you can potentially get return on investment on that loan, and just focus on, can I make that minimum repayment, and go from there. But Mark's good for that as well. So you just talk with Mark on the next call, and he'll help you with some more numbers as well. Yeah,
he'll go through all the numbers. I mean, if it's okay to get a little bit uncomfortable. Like, I feel like if you're upgrading to a position where you're just too comfortable, you won't take any action. If you're a little bit uncomfortable, it's going to be like, you need to get this going. I know when me and Dan started, we got those loans. We had literally, I drove from Sydney with $1,000 to my name to Perth, which is like a 4-day drive. Had no money, staying at family's house, and we just worked every day. We were doing like 15-hour days, and we made it work. We made a return on our black sale. We're profiting from black in our first 4 months, like 3-4 months, first 98. But that was us. We also knew how to market too at the time. We already had a strategy in place, so we had a bit of experience. But I mean, the business is pretty simple, right? The more people, like, you bring people in through marketing, you bring in traffic, and then they take care of the rest. The sales come through, and you just do more of that. So yeah, whatever you want to get at. I mean, if you're at the top position, then you can just really focus on that marketing. You don't have to focus on marketing and getting into a higher position. It's out of your mind. So it's really up to you. But yeah, that's just my point on it.
The best thing about, like what Adam was just saying, once you are positioned, you don't have to worry about anything else except reinvesting into traffic. And that's how, like Chris, when he was telling us, they did the same thing. He treated it like a real business. They went and got business loans. They quit their jobs, and they went black. And it took them 6 months before they saw a return. But then all of a sudden, they got their ad right. They got a keyword right, and they made 10 grand. And then AdWords goes, hey, this is working. It literally tells them you can increase your budget. So they put that 10 grand back on to marketing, and then next month they made 20 grand. So they put the full 20 grand back on marketing, and they made like 40 grand. And then I just watched them. I was on their email list 2.5 years ago, and I remember them going from like 20 grand to like 50 grand, and there was 80 grand, and it was 120K, and they peaked at like 185 grand for the month. And they did that a couple of months in a row. And that all happened in like a 6-month process. They went from their first 10K month, and then they were doing 100 grand a month 6 months later. And that's the benefit of being fully positioned. Once you have everything right, your ad is working, it's converting. All it is just spending more money. You don't have to do anything else except for write a couple of emails a week and maybe a team call every fortnight. It's really that simple once you set up and you've got everything running in your position. So yeah, there's something to think about as well.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Hopefully that answers that question. Cool, guys. Well, anything else? Any other questions, or anyone want to say anything at all? It's the crickets again.
I just wanted to say thank you, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, just absorbing everything.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you only joined last night, there's a lot of information to take in. I mean, if you're brand new, your best steps is just to go through the modules, and and by going through the training, you can really establish if you need to make sure this is the right business for you, because a lot of people see it as this online system stuff, but what it is a real business. The way I saw it, it's kind of like, startup. It's a startup company for us. Like, that's what I mean. Then we've got company accounts. We're treating it like a proper business, because that's exactly what it is. Unless you're just going in for the products and the training, which if you want to get into e-commerce, or you want to get certified at gold level, they're really great as well. But yeah, I mean, starting out though, if you're brand new, just keep going through the modules. Yeah.
Nadia, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys for doing this call and making it a real people experience as opposed to like sitting alone doing online stuff. And there's a lot of support. I find like it's really nice to be a part of a group like this that's so active and alive, and new members keep getting added, so it's really fun.
I know. I can't keep up sometimes.
Yeah, it is awesome. Well, that's what we really wanted to create. We wanted to create that community where we're all friends. We're all watching each other grow. We're all helping each other and supporting each other. It's not just a make money system. It's like we want to build like that community of friends where we're just, once we're all starting to succeed, we're meeting up in places around the world and just really building something long term. So it's good to have you all here. Thank you all for making it.
Yeah. I appreciate everyone being here.
Yeah.
It's really cool. All right, guys. Well, sorry, Dan.
That's probably it. I said that there's one thing I remember, Adam, you probably remember as well. Like when we very first got started in working online, one of the biggest breakthroughs that I had was actually in my goal setting. And I know SFM go into detail with it in the modules. They get you to do your bucket list. They get you to write your ideal day and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to add to that, and just to make sure you take it seriously. Like some of you probably will and go into detail, and some of you will go, it's just a goal. But for me, it was the biggest breakthrough I ever had. Like so many times when I was going through personal development audios and listening to successful people speak, they were always talking about having clear goals and your why, finding your why. And I never really took it seriously. I was like, yeah, I know what I want. I want to travel the world and make money. I know that. You know, I didn't dive deep into the why. And there was a mentor that I had, and this might help some of you with some extra goal setting, who helped to break down your goals and how to set big, hairy, audacious goals is what he called them, and actually achieve them. And what he got me to do is write out a 10-year life master plan. So I sat down and I brainstormed with a piece of paper and I wrote down everything that I wanted in my life 10 years from now. Exactly how old I was going to be, how many children I wanted, like my wife, where I lived, how many cars I had, money in the stock market, every little detail of how I wanted my life to look, and write that out. So then once I brainstormed it, I started to write that out. I put on some nice soft music and I sort of meditated on it as I was writing it. And it really felt like I was there now. And it was a really overwhelming feeling of seeing my life 10 years from now, the way I wanted it. It was really powerful. And then I broke that down to 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, 3 months. And that really helped me to get super clear on what I wanted. And it did get quite emotional at some point, because there was another aspect to it that he said, when you're setting your goals, break it into 4 categories. He goes, do a line down the middle and a line across the center of your page, and do your money goals, your recreation goals, your occupation, and your family. And then I wrote out all my money goals, what I want to achieve money-wise. And then I wrote down all my occupation, like what I want to do for fun, skydiving and gym and whatever else. And then all my occupation, what I want to actually do for work, business. And then it was my family goals. And I never really knew my why, that burning why. They said, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not big enough. And I never cried with my why. And I never knew what it was. So when I started writing up all my family goals, I started writing about my mum and my dad, and I was writing how I was going to pay my dad's house off. I was going to write him a check, pay off his house, and buy him a business class ticket back to Italy because he's Italian. And we were going to go on a 1-month trip all around Italy together. And as I started to write down that goal of the family, all of a sudden I had this big ball of emotion came up from my stomach, and I just fucking bawled my eyes out. I just started crying. And I was like, holy shit, now I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And it was from that moment forward where every time I get stuck, every time I was thinking, this is hard, or, I don't know if I can do it, I was doubting myself, I would go back to that goal that I wrote about my family, and I'd read it again. And I'm like, this is why, and I guess I wanted to add to that when you're setting your goals, because I didn't take it seriously until I did that. And Adam was actually lucky enough to have that same mentor, that same coach, and he was incredible for both of us. So I would encourage you guys to really take the goal setting seriously if you haven't already, and, get clear on what you want, try and find that real reason why you do what you do. And that'll help you with the end goal. Because if you don't have a clear goal set, it's like you probably all heard the GPS story. If you're trying to drive to a certain location and you don't have your GPS set or your map, you don't know how to get there, right? You're probably going to get lost. The same thing is with your business goals. If you don't really have that clear goal set, you're probably going to get lost along the way. So yeah, that's probably all I wanted to add to the call, just a little bit of a personal experience. I hope you got some value with that. And if you haven't done so already, go and set those goals. That's it from me.
Well said. Roxana, how you doing? I see your hand right up.
Yeah, just because Daniel talked about finding your why, during the modules, we should write down every day the meta story. And actually, I had a problem in writing this, but yesterday night, I had this vision of myself, and so I wrote down. It's not a business plan, it's just myself being a place and organize my day, doing the SFM job, doing the ads, writing blogs, or whatever else. How was for you? You are doing these meta stories every day, or how should do? How should be done? If you have any suggestion about the meta story.
Yeah.
Does that mean, is that for the your ideal day? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and also like the planning of your job, the things you should do.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I wrote my ideal day, it's just, it was roughly how I wanted my day to look. So how many hours a day do I want to commit to actually working? What do I want to do if I wake up in the morning? Do I want to just go straight into opening emails and whatnot? Or do I want to go and walk on the beach? Do I want to go and, go to the gym, have a workout? Do I want to go hiking? Like, what do you really want to do in your average day? Where do you want to live? How do you want to wake up? Be the beach, in the mountains, and just sort of get clear on your standard day. I mean, it's not going to be what you're going to do every day, but it's your choice. It's your life choice, and that's how I'm going to live. You don't have to write that out every day, but just so you're putting that vision into your mind, your subconscious. This is how I want to live my life. I want to wake up in this location. I want to go and do this first, and then So for myself personally, and Adam, like when I envision this all the time, when I was working in construction in Sydney, the other guys used to laugh at me because they used to have my fluoro overalls. We're working underground, 30 meters below ground in building tunnels for a new train line underground. And there was cranes and there was jackhammers and noise and crap everywhere. And I would just go, you see the beautiful crystal clear ocean out in the front, the palm trees out to the left, the coconut in hand. And I would every single day, I would tell them and joke with them, but I was being serious. I was just trying to envision where I wanted to be. And, a few months later, I had no plans to move to Bali. And then when Adam and I both made that decision to leave Sydney, we're like, what are we going to do? Like, we were lost, but we're like, stuff it, let's go all in. We went black and we just sat down at home for 15 hours a day, just giving everything we had to this. And now we're in Bali and I get to do that. I get to watch the sunset with the palm trees and the coconut in hand. And that's the power of actual manifesting and the law of attraction, being able to have that clear vision of your everyday life and putting it there. It's just getting clear on that, because as soon as you get clear on that, they put that out on the menu of the universe, you order it, and then you just wait and you do the work to get there. And I think that's what, it's all about is just getting clear on that day. And now I get up, I go to the gym, I do what I want to do first, and then I'll come back. And Adam and I will usually go to a cafe, we'll work for a couple hours, reply to emails, check our stats, then we'll go to the beach, we'll go for a surf, we'll go on an adventure, go see some waterfalls. That's our ideal day. That's how we wanted to live. So I think that's if that answers your question, then
yeah, you did. Thank you a lot.
Right. You're welcome.
Where are you from, Italy?
Calabria. It's where my family is from Palmi, a little town called Palmi.
Okay. I am from Roma.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a trip. Maybe we'll do a team event one day in Italy.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Is there anyone else who wants to say anything or any questions?
No. All right, guys. It was a good call. We can, I guess we'll leave it at that. If anyone has any questions or they need a hand in anything, you guys are more than welcome to reach out to us on Messenger, and we'll help you out to the best of our abilities. I mean, we don't know absolutely everything yet. Maybe give us a few more months, but we will. We'll put you in the right direction. I mean, SFM has a great community as well, so definitely get involved with them. And we just don't like leaving people feeling like they're being left out. So reach out if you need help. Yeah. All right, guys. Anyway, we'll see everyone on the next call, which is every 2 weeks. And see ya.
See you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
You too.